this video, we're going to talk about representing functions as rules and tables. First, the vocabulary. A function consists of a set called the domain containing numbers called inputs and a set called the range containing numbers called outputs. The domain is a set of all inputs of a function. The range is a set of all outputs of a function. The independent variable is the input variable of a function. The dependent variable is the output variable of a function. An easy way to think of a function is like a machine, as in this diagram. We have an input, and we put it into the machine, which we can think of as a relationship. And as it goes through the machine, it comes out with the output. That's an easy way to think of pictorially about a function. What you put in something and you get something out. An easy way to think of a function is like a machine, as in this diagram. We have an input, and we put it into the machine, which we can think of as a relationship. And as it goes through the machine, it comes out with the output. That's an easy way to think of pictorially about a function. What you put in something and you get something out. So essentially, there's three ways to represent a function. One, using the verbal rule. So for example, we can say that output is 3 more than the input. As an equation, y equals x plus 3. Take note, we're using x as our input, y as our output. In our table, we can say our input's x, and we could say our inputs could be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And our output, which is y, if we plug in 0, we get 3, 4 when we plug in 1, 5 when we plug in 2, 3 when you plug in 6 when you plug in 3, and 7 when you plug in 4. Example 1. The output table shows the cost of various amounts of regular unleaded gas from the same pump. Identifying the domain and range of the function. So our domain is just simply the numbers 10, 17.185, 25, and 32.3. Our range will be our numbers in the right column, 32.79, 56.35, 81.975, and then 105.91, and we found our domain and our range. Example 2. Tell whether each pairing is a function. So in our first part A, we have a mapping from our domain to our range. We have, let's highlight these so we can see what I'm talking about. We have 5 going to 11. We have 8 going to -5 and 8 going to 6. We have 10 going to -5 and 11 going to -5, and we have a 10 going to -10 going to +11. Take note, we have 8 going to 2 different numbers, -5 and -6. So I highlight those in blue for a reason, because we can't have, if you think about a proper machine, like a soda machine, if you hit like a Coke button, you wouldn't expect to get out a Pepsi button. So you can't have one button getting 2 machines. So this is not a function. Whereas on the opposite side, in part B, we have an input and an output. We have 0 going to 0, 1 going to 2, 4 going to 8, and 6 going to 2. There's no repeated input values, and every input value has a different output value. So this is a function. And we are done with example 2. Example 4. Write a rule for the function. We have an input of 0, 1, 4, 6, and 10, and our outputs are 2, 3, 6, 8, and 10. So we want to look at how do I get from my input to my output. So if we think addition, 0 plus 2 gives me 2, 1 plus 2 gives me 3, 4 plus 2 gives me 6, 6 plus 2 gives me 8, and 10 plus 2 gives me 12. So our function rule, this has to be y equals x, which we're going to use for our input, plus 2, and we are done.